Okay. So remember, y equals x is just a line with a slope of 1 that passes through the origin. Miss Apple, how am I supposed to know that? You're going to need to know this by memory. You need to know that this blue line is the line y equals x. You'll need to know them on site. Okay. It passes through 0, 0. I need to memorize this. Please. And then y equals negative x is just, the same idea, just going at a slope of -1 through the origin. These are basically the most simple diagonal line you could plot. Almost how, well, why is it important to know these lines? Well, because we're going to be reflecting things over them, and you're going to have to draw them for me. Okay. Because notice the next set of rules are to reflect over y equals x and to reflect over y equals -x. So we have some new instructions. Let's interpret these into words. Over y equals x, we start with a point xy, and then we end up with this. What happened?
Swap them.
Yeah, you swap the position, right? So this is swap position. You write down whatever you need to write down to make that make sense, but this is what makes sense to me. I swap the position of the x and the y. Are there any sign changes happening here yet? No. But when we come down and look at the next one, the y equals a -x. We have a swap in position again, but we also have what?
Negative.
Yep, we have a change in x and y sign. So we swap the signs of both. So notice your instructions are starting to get more complex as we move through. So again, what you will be expected to be able to do is I will say, flip it over that line, you'll go to your little sheet and you'll find the appropriate rule and you'll interpret those instructions, okay? I will not do this one. I need you to know how to read that. Okay. So one important thing is don't put your notes up after we get done and start practicing because you'll need to refer back. I'm gonna do a couple more and then, I'm gonna do 2 more examples and I'm gonna let you work on your assignment for the rest of the block, okay? And if you finish it before time to go, guess what? You don't have anything to do on it. All right. Reflect over the line y equals x. And remember, the first thing is graph the line of reflection. The graph line of reflection. Y equals x looks like this. It's just a perfect diagonal line that perfectly goes through each of those boxes. If yours is a little off like mine, that's okay. But it doesn't need to be real tilty, okay? That is a professional mathematical word. I like to highlight mine. You don't have to, but I like to make sure that my brain's paying attention when it needs to. Okay, so normally I could just count the line of reflection, but this time I can't. Everything is diagonal, so there are not nice blocks. So I'm going to have to rely on the rule. So let's call this guy A and this guy B. And let's remember what our instructions for this is. So our rule looks like this, right? So this is the rule. I just pulled that off of your notes, okay? This rule has to do with coordinates, yeah? So would it probably be helpful if I had some to work with? Yeah. So let's get those. What are the coordinates of A? 1, -3. What are the coordinates of B? 4, -2. Okay, well now I can do this. In words, what does this say to do? Switch the positions, right? So if I want A prime, I would just write it backwards. See what I did? I just flipped it. And if I want B prime, I'm just going to split it. And so now let's go plot those and see what that reflection actually looks like. So be -3, 1, and -2, 4. So we just flipped it over. Notice again, if you were to fold your paper on that yellow line, those two segments would match. Questions so far? A little tedious, but doable, okay? All right. Let's graph the line of reflection. This is y equals -x. So remember, this one is the same, but goes the other way. -x, think negative and it's kind of going down. The slope is going down. I'm going to highlight it again just because that's what I like to do. We determined last time that number one, we need a rule, so this is going to be xy changes according to these directions, -y, -x. Remember, my instructions here are change the signs of both. I'm going to just keep, you don't have to rewrite this unless you want to. These instructions should already be written in your notes from before and swap positions. All right, let's do A. A is -2, 2. Now, what gets tricky here is that when you're doing two different sets of instructions in the same thing, if you can do them both at the same time and get it right every time, then great. I'm going to show you how I think about it. You're welcome to do it however you need to get it. I always change the signs first. So I'm going to go ahead and be like, oh, look, that becomes positive and that becomes negative. And then when I rewrite it, I change their positions because then I don't get confused about which one actually changes for what. You see why I did that? You don't have to do that, but that helps me. Let's do B. B is 2, 4. And so B prime, I'm going to go ahead and change both of them to negative, and then I'm going to change the order they're written. And I want y'all to try C and D. C starts off as 6, 2. D starts off as 2, 0. There you go. Just double check to make sure you got what I got. And then I'm going to plot it so you can see what it looks like reflected. Let's see, B prime is -4 and 2. C prime is -2, -6. D prime is 0, -2. Let me show you something. Look at A and A prime. Did it actually change after I did all that? No. Anytime it's on the line of reflection, it won't do that. Notice how it's on that line? It won't be, it won't change. And that's normal, okay? So if that happens, don't be like, it's fine. But see how, again, if I were to fold that piece of paper on that yellow line, those two diamonds would be right on top of each other. All right, so I'm gonna give you your assignment. We are in here for another 30 minutes. I want you to work on your stuff until till 2 minutes before time to pack up. So here's what I'm gonna do. Are we listening? Make sure we're listening. So the way I would like our class to run on a normal basis is I would like for you to, after I'm going over notes, I'd like for you to be able to get your phones while you're working in class, okay? But in order for us to keep doing that, we've got to be responsible with our cell phone use. Do I care if you check Snapchat or TikTok? No. Do you need to be on it and not working, or on it for like 20 minutes? No. We know what responsible use looks like, right? So I want at least 95% working and 5% of whatever else, okay? Can we do that? Because I would prefer to let you have them while you work. So while I'm passing out your assignment, just orderly fashion, come grab them. I'll pass out your assignment and then I'll show you where to look for what numbers I want you to do, because I jumped around a lot because I didn't finish the notes. I just feel like my brain is full, so I know yours is. Like, it takes me a minute to get back in, and this will get us back on track with second block, okay? All right, so y'all get your phones. I'm gonna hand this out. By the time you get back, I'll be ready to show you where to find what numbers that you need to. As long as they don't have to try. So that's the way I'd like it to go every day. Notes, then during your work time, grab those. Okay. So please let me show you real quick. Shh. When I'm talking, I need you not talking, okay? I need you listening, because if something's coming out your mouth, nothing's coming in your ears. So look, here is where to find every single day. If you either forget or like, oh man, was I supposed to do that one? You're going to go into the OneNote notebook and you're going to look at the agenda tab, okay? And that's what you see up here every day when you go in. Now notice today is Tuesday. And we are now on the homework assignment. We're working in class, and these are the numbers that you're responsible for. Okay? So we already did all this. We did homework check 1, we did notes reflections, we did reflections practice. I'm going to post the key for the reflections practice while you are working. Can you just go in there and copy the answers? I mean, can you? Sure, the key will be there. Are you going to learn anything doing that? So my suggestion to you, as always, will be to try a problem, then look at the answer. Don't look at the answer first, because you're not learning anything. I'm not going to take this homework. I will ask to see it tomorrow. I'll ask you to have it out on your desk. And I'll have you ask any questions that you need. If this is so you can practice and use me as a resource, I can help you make sure you're on the right track, because you got another homework check like today coming in hot on Thursday, which we'll go over this and what we learned tomorrow, okay? All right. When you're working on an assignment like this that's not for a grade, I encourage you to ask people around you questions, ask me questions. The idea right now is to make sure you can do it, okay?